So let's think about value for a minute. If you move towards something, you value it. Otherwise, you wouldn't move towards it. There's an old joke about the chicken is, why did the chicken cross the road? And the answer to that is, well, he thought the other side was better. Well, that's the case, you know. We need a gradient of value to organize our action. And you have to prioritize because you can't do everything at once. And so you do the thing that's most important right now. And that means you're in a world of importance. That's a value world. And the value world, as far as I can tell, has two broad components. The Taoists talked about it as yin and yang. And broadly speaking, it's order and chaos. And order tends to be represented with masculine symbols, and chaos tends to be represented with feminine symbols. Anyways, you're in order when what you want to happen happens when you act. And so that's reassuring because not only do you get what you want, but the fact that you get what you want indicates that your theory about how to get what you want is true. And every time you fail, you don't get what you want, but you also undermine the validity of the theory that you're using to organize your perceptions and your actions. That's partly why people don't like to fail, because you don't know how far back that can echo, how far down your hierarchy of presuppositions that can echo. If you're clinically depressed, every minor failure means you're a worthless human being. And you never know when a failure is going to demonstrate that. You know, it can. In any case, there's chaos and order. They're the two great domains. And you have to contend with chaos because too much of it overwhelms you. You drown in it. It's the flood. And that happens when your life gets beyond you. And you're somewhere where no matter what you do, nothing you want happens. It's a domain of terror and pain. Now, it's also a domain of unlimited possibility because outside of what you know is everything you don't know. And there's untold riches to be gathered from the domain of everything you don't know. But that doesn't mean it still needs to be managed. It's dangerous. Now, the domain of order is the same way. It's like if order becomes too extreme, then everything becomes cramped. It becomes totalitarian. And then that starts to pathologize. That's the dying king. The king who's dying for lack of the water of life is the old tyrant who can no longer see beyond his own presuppositions. And so my first book concentrated more on pathologies of chaos, and the second book more on pathologies of order. That's why mythological language is standard across people, is no matter who you are, no matter when you live, you always have to deal with the fact that some things escape your competence. And no matter where you are, no matter who you are, you have to adapt to the fact of the existence of a value structure that's shared across a social group. It's the fundamental, so those are fundamental constituent elements of human experience. And we have symbols for them. And we all understand the symbols. So for example, in Pinocchio, I'm not going to go into this because it's too complicated, but no one balks at a puppet going to the bottom of the ocean and being swallowed by a whale. Why? It makes no sense, right? It's obviously not an empirical description of the objective world, but it's so clearly real that a 4-year-old can follow it. It's a mystery. You know, the whale breathes fire in Pinocchio. It's a dragon. And why? Why is that? Well, we face dragons forever. That's what a human being is. It's a creature that faces the dragon. The dragon can burn you to a crisp, but it has what you need. That's the world. It'll burn you up, but it has what you need. And so then the question is, how do you stop from getting burned up and get what you need? And the answer to that is that you mold yourself into the hero. I would say that part of the cultural war, it's man, so to speak, against nature. Although sometimes it's man against culture and sometimes it's man against man. It's man against nature, and we triumph as the hero. And maybe that story isn't true or isn't correct, but that's us. And if it isn't correct, well, then we're an evolutionary abortion because that's who we are. And I would say, well, before you throw it aside, maybe you should try it. What does it mean to try it? It means to practice love. And that means assume that things are valuable and act according to that assumption. There's a proposition that God is guided by love and uses truth to create. It's something like that. And maybe love is something like the wish that all being would flourish. There isn't a better story than that.
For those curious to explore the secrets of success further, the $1.5 million Napoleon Hill book has been sold at auction and is now yours for free. You can access the book using the first link below.